recap Days of Our Lives for the week of September 8th through the 12th. Lots of things happened this week, so let's get to it. At the beginning of the week, Ben calls breakup on Ben and Abigail, because according to him, they could not get past EJ. All Abigail was thinking about was EJ. He's always on her mind, and they're never going to get past it. T and Jordan act as the wingmen to try to get them back together, and I guess it kind of works because Abigail, with the help of T, gets Ben into the basement again, locks it, and then proceeds to tell him why she is over EJ, is because when she thinks about EJ, even though he's still all up in her head, she's thinking that, wow, that was really bad, and I'm so glad I'm out of that, and I'm so glad I'm with you now because everything in our relationship is really good. And of course that was enough to convince Ben that they should give them another shot. So Will was offered a job at Sonic's, which is another magazine, I believe. His old editor, Zoe, got a position there after being fired from Titan, probably Victor's doing. But now she is at a new position where she has full creative control, and the first order that she wants is Will. Will is very excited about it, although he's a little apprehensive at first. He wants all the terms laid out, no more writing about his family. And he makes up his mind before talking to Sunny, even though he says, well, I need to talk to my husband. Sunny gets really upset about that because, of course, he doesn't want Will to do this. I mean, look how well the last one turned out. But as Sunny said, it sounds like Will already made up his mind. Later in the week, Will goes to the DiMera mansion with Ariana, and he uses Ariana to try and get Sammy to forgive him. He, apologizes. They both have an honest conversation about, how they need to accept each other and how they need to respect each other, and, you don't always get what you get. And long story short is that mother and son make up. And Ariana is adorable. Speaking of jobs, Clyde Weston, father of Ben and Jordan, wants to work for EJ. Why? He's a dirty businessman. And EJ is the father of dirty business. Or his father was, and now it's kind of him. He's starting to get back into the dirty business, or underground business, something to help him make some money while Kate and Sammy are running his company. At first, EJ rejects him flat out, but then goes home and does some research, and then calls a meeting, and is, really tough guy. They're both kind of playing their cool here, trying to act like they own the business and they know what's going on. Mr. Weston and Mr. DiMera have a great conversation in the shadows of the town square park. EJ makes it clear that Clyde is on probation. He is on a trial period. He has 1 week to prove to EJ that he is worth doing business with. We know that EJ is leaving soon, which we are all very sad about. So perhaps another DiMera who has been learning the ways of Stefano DiMera, who is going to come back to Salem soon, is going to be taking over this dirty business, and he's maybe the one who's going to be working with Clyde. Also, Stefano's hearing about the tax evasion and whether or not he comes back to Salem. EJ, of course, hides his involvement, as Stefano cannot know that he's not on his side, which gets Sammy really scared because now she realizes that Stefano is coming after her, and her and EJ have a really intense, very close conversation. She has a great line where he says, how could I hurt someone who I love so much? And Sammy says, you were human. Things get really, really intimate, and they were so close. They teased it. Oh man, I was yelling at my TV. Kiss, kiss, kiss. They were this close, and then they got a cheek kiss. Jay tried to warn Kristen that, Sammy's not going to really like what Kristen's doing to her brother, and since she's CEO, that may cause a problem. And Kristen just laughs in his face and says, oh, let's see, a team of horses, mashed potatoes, dessert cream, EJ DiMera. These are all the things that are whipped. Kate walks in on E-Jammy in their emotional situation, and Kate flips her lid. She says, I cannot believe you are doing this. Please tell me that you are not thinking about getting back with EJ. And Sammy raises a good point. She says, don't I deserve to find love? I've gotten my revenge. I don't want to end up like you. Ooh. Bottom line, Stefano was not cleared Ray Fernandez was on that like a bomb, but it really doesn't matter because we know Stefano's going to come back eventually, and the ladies need to be scared. Moving on, so Hayden has become the portmanteau to represent Hope and Aiden, who are clearly falling for each other. Hope is really conflicted about all of this. She's so conflicted that she talks to Kayla, one of the most boring characters on the show, about her feelings. That's how bad it gets. She's daydreaming about Sierra's play, Cinderella, on the steps of the church. And, by the way, we all know that that's the Horton Town Square set. Like, come on, she says it like 5 times. I'm sitting here on the church steps. Hello, that is clearly the Horton Town Square's steps. You know, the one that, Jennifer pushed Nicole down? Remember that? Come on, set team, you couldn't have done a better job than just posting a sign that says St. Luke's Church on them? Sure, it's a different set, because it says so. But back to Hayden. Aiden actually has a drink with Nicole, because they're both kind of down in the dumps, so they have a drink together. Hope sits down and makes herself comfortable as she wants to say something to Aiden. You know, in response to his confession of his feelings, she needs to say something. And of course we all know she has feelings. I mean, that whole Cinderella daydream. I mean, if that wasn't feelings, I don't know what is. Eve blackmails a prostitute. She picks the girl up off the street, films her stealing some chick's purse, and, you know, bing bang boom, one bribe later, she's gonna have this girl flirt with JJ at a college party in order to try to break him up with Paige. Great plan, Eve. I'm sure this will turn out great. JJ and Paige have actually gotten very close after the first week of classes. They have a little argument about Mary Beth really being mean to JJ, and JJ is trying to be the bigger man because, you know, she's Paige's friend, and things are pretty awkward with Mary Beth and Rory right there. But nevertheless, their romance is going to continue. Biggest story of the week is probably Kristen's drug, which is finally given to the doctors. Daniel and Marlena show it to Brady, and he is so excited. He is all for it, pushing for it. Then on Friday, we learn, after a dramatic pause, it takes 24 hours. I told you that, right? So we're gonna have to wait till next week. Marlena is very determined. She is not letting go of him this time. We're gonna have a Jarlena reunion once he wakes up. Yeah! Brady finds out that Kristen was using blackmail in order to get Eric not to testify. Roman talked to Eric about it. Nicole found out about it. Another person who finds out about Kristen's drug, who isn't happy about it, is Teresa. They are both at the mansion as Teresa decides she wants one last chance to play the Kristen card. Kristen shows up to try and weasel her way back in Brady's life by bragging about the drug that she gave to the doctors. And of course, both of them spill their secrets. Kristen about the drug, which gets Teresa totally freaked out, and Teresa admits that she slept with Brady, which gets Kristen so mad that she almost strangles her to death if Maggie hadn't come in at the last minute. Teresa's reaction was so strong that Kristen figures out that it was her who hit John on the head, and she tells this to Daniel. Maybe he'll believe her, maybe he won't. Kristen is a pathological liar, and we know she hates Teresa. But the evidence against her is pretty strong, and the way Daniel feels about Teresa, he may just believe her. And the last big shocker of the week, Chad returns! Welcome, Billy Flynn, to Days of Our Lives. And the first thing that he does when he gets back is punches EJ! Yep, I'm back, and that was for sleeping with my girlfriend. We'll see how EJ reacts to Chad's return next week in Salem. Bye!